Arena 4D editing patch. So here you can see a lorry data, and there's a hole here where the scanner obviously couldn't pick up through the gap here. So we have a hole in the truck section. So what we want to do is just quickly, I'll do it very briefly, fill this hole here with some points data, and then colour it to kind of just quickly make it look like it matches. So with our data on the screen, the first thing you want to do is make sure the point cloud data looks easy to work on as possible. If I change some of the density values here of the point data, that may be harder to work on. You may have super sampling on and etc. So I'm going to leave that at default. In this instance, I've got set the points size of 3 works well. You can do that here. This is explained in another video on point clouds, but I've just changed the point size using the keyboard, and I'm relatively happy with that, and I have filling turned on. So once we're ready, click editing. Here's the options for editing, and we're going to be using patch. So for doing a patch, you need to use the fence option here. So once we select that, patch is enabled. Patch has point spacing, default is 10. If your point cloud's not very dense, that may look denser, so you could increase that value, or the opposite. So select patch, brings up the control key to use, same as doing editing, a selection. The only difference here is it will create a patch. So position data, happy with that. I've turned snap to point on up here, and I'm just going to click roughly around the edges here. This is just a demonstration. Double click to finish, and select a directory and enter a name for the new VPC file. You can see on the left here in the workspace tree, we have lorry back, which I typed in, and the original data set. So it's created a new VPC file, which you can turn off and on to show where your patch is. I've got the position tool turned on here. It's kind of in there. If you wanted to move the data slightly, as per any data type, you could do that here. Don't wish to. So now we have points. Fantastic, but they look a bit obvious. So what we could do is change the color. Now you could blend color in here, this whitey blue section across and the blue here. In this instance, for a quick video, I don't want to spend that much time, so I'm going to click the paint option where we can choose the color and the coverage. I want this to be solid, not slightly transparent with different colors, so I've got that set to 10 solid. Pick color, and as you can see, as I move, it changes color. I'm just going to use this blue here, and I'm going to select paint, and I'm going to use a paintbrush set to 1 meter. You could change all that. So select paint, here we go. In fact, I am going to just decrease the size of that paintbrush, so we paint away. Very crude what I'm doing here. You could make that look as if that hasn't been drawn by someone who's not good at painting by numbers, but you get the idea. We now have a solid looking truck at the back.